Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 99. It's Iliya here, and as always I really appreciate you being here. As you know, in this video we're gonna have a look at the market, how it developed this week, what opportunities did we have, and what we can potentially expect for the upcoming one. So this week was pretty bad for me. I'm quite dissatisfied with myself because I missed out on a lot of great opportunities, and the ones that I landed on were break even, of course. And yeah, taking a lot of lessons from that as well, really doing a lot of forward testing because I'm trying to refine my entries all the way down to the 1 minute to get very tight stop losses so I can be just in and out and done for the day, right? And yeah, I'm gonna show you as much as I can. I'm gonna show you all of my trades as always with the breakdowns. I plan to make a great detailed breakdown on EU and GU, and I will actually do this once per week, maybe on Thursday, because by Thursday I would have probably taken quite a few trades. So let me know down in the comments if you want me to do once per week a detailed breakdown on my main pairs, which are actually only EU and GU right now. Right? So if you're new to this channel, it's all about trading. I share this weekly outlook and setups every Saturday. It's your best tool to prepare for the week ahead. And once per week, I give my best to share either a trading breakdown, an educational video, or something else. I try to do more psychological series as well, just filming myself with and sharing with you some things that I have realized on my trading journey and still trading aspects that I'm dealing with. So let me know if you want me to do that. And of course, make sure you are subscribed. Hit the notification bell in order not to miss the future updates. And just to let you know that I have been trading some crypto, and I do it with Forex.com. It's an amazing broker with amazing spreads as well. And they have a zero commission account. But if you open an eco account, every single dollar of commission you pay goes towards planting trees, and I really like this initiative. I have my eco account, so make sure to check them out. Link will be down in the description. And if you already did, let's see what do we have for this week. Alright, as always, let's start with our best friend, the Dixie, the US dollar currency index, to have a look at the dollar and to potentially forecast what the other pairs could be about to do. So if we zoom in on the weekly time frame, always pay attention to the previous weekly candle, which is this actually weekly candle. So what we did is we were actually pretty bullish at a time, but then as you can see, the market retested some sort of a level on the left and then pushed all the way down and closed almost exactly where it opened. So this is a bullish close, but it's an overall doji. I'm not sure of the name, graveyard or whatever it is. You actually don't need to know those things, right? Just look at the psychology of the candles. Again, to give you a little bit of a context, the market is coming from this big supply area, this whole consolidation. The market slowly climbed towards it. We tapped inside and we have been withdrawing from it for quite some time. And right now the market is currently retesting the low of this range. All right, so we can possibly expect maybe a little bit of a pullback, or maybe just the market is going to continue flushing to the downside. And of course, this depends a lot on the dollar and how it performs. But then again, dropping on the daily time frame, you can see we have been in a downwards trending market since the 6th of April. So that is quite some time. We had a little bit of an aggressive pullback right there, but as you can see, the market never broke the lower high right there. So it created an equal lower high, right? And then we just dumped to the downside, break of structure. This is our lower low. And as you can see, on the 12th of May, actually it was on the 12th of May that the market pumped into the highs to create this weekly high, right? This high wick on the weekly time frame. Then we created actually a 1, 2, 3 formation, morning star, indecision candle right there on Thursday, and then Friday continued to move to the downside. So you would ask why this pushed to the upside. Well, basically the market tapped inside this area, as I told you, because this is the low of this range. We reacted from it. We took all the orders that were resting right there. So right now, what we can actually expect is maybe for the market to continue and actually break this structured low. So actually for next week, this is going to be our target, potential lower lows. Dropping onto the hourly time frame. So again, let me show you why the market reacted from there. I think I do call this level, maybe on the previous volume, because you can see, so we had a push up, pull back, the market failed to make a higher high, which is super significant. We pushed to the downside, we consolidate, and then we massively exit outside of this little range. That is clearly seen on the hourly. And then what we actually did is we spotted the longs down there. The market pulled back, lower high, lower low, lower high still, failed to make a lower low, just wicked below this low, and then we broke structure. As you can see right there, if you're very precise and if you draw your arrow, you can see that we closed above it. Then we created a higher low right there, and then we sharply impulsed to the upside. And if you drop to the hourly time frame, you're gonna see actually where the market reacted from. It just filled that gap right there, retested this little slowdown before the move up that broke structure, and we sharply impulsed above. And this was CPI. There were a lot of news at that time, so this was actually the cause for that up move. And then again, as you can see, there is your level. The market consolidated, and then we just flushed to the downside. So currently the positioning of price is rather strange, because we can expect two things. The market can just dump to the downside, or because this is a very strong demand level right now, I think we're gonna have a reaction. But spot what I say, we're gonna have a reaction. All right, we're not gonna have a reversal like this. We're gonna have a reaction for the market to create a lower high. All right, and then to potentially pump down and target those weekly lows right there. All right, so what is my outlook on the DXY? I would expect the market to tap inside this area, to react, to create a lower high, and then to potentially pump to the downside. And yeah, as you can see, we have a perfect retest area right there to potentially revisit, drop your FIB, wait for the market to get above 50%, because this is your highest probability area, and then potentially let's take a sell from there. So let's see how the DXY is gonna go this week. Let's have a look at EU. So currently, just to give you a little bit of a recap, this reaction to the downside was caused by this very strong supply area for 2018. All right, so that was pretty major. As you can see, the market tapped inside, and we were trending to the downside for quite some time, for 98 days. And right now, I believe we are about to make a higher high to potentially actually break this high, and not to say that we might even go above these levels. So my outlook overall on EU longer term is bullish, but of course, as intraday traders, we have to figure out what is happening right now. So what we have right there is the market finding the low, then breaking the high, creating higher highs and higher lows, push to the upside, pullback, failure actually to continue and closing below. As you can see, there is no body close below this higher low right there on the daily, so this was actually an equal higher low. Then we sharply impulsed into the highs, broke the structure, created a higher high. But what we do is we react from this big daily wick right there, which is again another supply area, and we have the reaction. But again, you see that we just pull back, created a higher low, and again, as the DXY, we have this morning star formation, which signifies a lot of potential bullish pressure. All right, so dropping onto the hourly, this reaction to the upside was caused by this level. So this is where I wanted to see the market go to potentially take a long. But what we did is we opened right there, and the majority of the week we were playing with this price. All right, it was very tricky, but what we spotted early on is that we have this pullback, we had a push up, and then have a look at the low of this week. It got broken by this sharp move to the downside. So from that time, I knew we were about to pump down. All right, but then we have this problem, is that before the market reverses, it actually took out the liquidity above this level right there, and that's when we reversed. All right, so let me actually show you the trade that I took on EU. Let me see, I think I have it marked out. Yep, so basically I tried to short the market right there, but I was in at the wrong time. So what I did, again, if you drop to the hourly, you spot this nice push to the downside that broke structure, we consolidated, so there was a beautiful long to be taken to the upside. Let me first drop to the 15-minute. So let me maybe even press the replay so that we can see clearer. So what is this to the downside? This is a manipulation below the Asian range. So if I just quickly trigger the Asian range, here you go, this is your Asian range, and as you can see, London opens, we tapped the liquidity below the Asian range, and then we had a beautiful long opportunity that, of course, I missed. It was exactly right there. And then again, you can see the market taps inside my area. All right, so what I did is I went to even to the lowest time frames, and I used this little candle to take my entry. So I entered as the market was pushing up. I'm gonna share my entry so that you can see. And yeah, then I was super patient. The markets consolidated. Then we had a push to the downside. The market broke structure right there. So I was staying pretty confident in the trade, but then I dropped to the 1 minute to just monitor how the market was behaving. And what I spotted is we had lots of equals right there. Have a look how equal the market was, and I knew that this is gonna get taken out. And then what I also spotted is that the market reacted from this overall range right there. So we tapped inside, right, and as you can see, we started to reverse, push, pull back, higher high, higher low, higher high. So the market started building that bullish momentum to the upside. And what I did is I just simply went break even, and I'm pretty happy that I did, because I was stopped out. And then again, I failed to acknowledge all of those long opportunities. as well to the upside, and this is when we actually created the high of the week during US session, and then we just dumped. So I could have maybe looked for shorts around these areas, but I didn't because it's not in my trading window anymore. As for the trade that I really regret missing, it was this one. So there is your manipulation to the downside. We have a push, break of structure, higher low, higher high, created retest of the previous higher low right there, and there was your simple long trade. So I was actually looking at this, but I hesitated. It had a 2.5 pip stop loss, and then eventually I was planning to ride it into that level that I wanted to take a short, and this would have been a 1 to 10. Simple and very nice, but again, as I told you, I'm still not perfect and I'm still training myself to actually be taking those entries. And there were a lot more opportunities that I have broken down to my team. Like we had a 2 hours webinar on Thursday breaking down every single move on EU, and of course I'm gonna try to do this for you guys as well on YouTube. But yes, let's focus right now to potentially see what the market could do. As I told you, I would expect to have higher highs. Is it going to be this week or next week? We don't know. But if we just follow the structure, the market is coming from this area. We perfectly tapped inside, we consolidated, and right now we're starting to pump above. So similar to the DXY, I would expect a reaction, and basically the market structure makes a lot of sense because I would be looking for the pullback, higher low formation, and then a potential higher high. All right, so as you can see, potentially I would love to see the market come inside my higher low area right there. If you want to drop your fib, drop it and look for longs below the 50% preferably. As you can see around this area, we have all of those golden fib levels or whatever you like to call them. But yeah, very simple. This is my outlook on EU. I will be looking for higher prices this week, but first I need to see that retracement. I need to buy it low. So let's see how it's gonna open. Make sure to stay tuned for my Tuesday analysis on Telegram, where I always give you an update. And yeah, let's see what EU is gonna do this week. Let's have a look at EJ. So what we have right there is 3 consecutive bullish weeks. All right, so a pullback is imminent. The question is when. Zooming out a little bit, what I can see is that the market is currently tapping in some of those levels. So we have this high and this high. And usually when a high is broken, that's when we actually have a retracement. All right. What is the meaning behind? Well, simply when you have a higher high, you should expect a higher low. All right. So right now, if the market is about to break those highs and make a higher high, then we should start expecting the pullback. So currently, I actually think the market is reaching to trade above those highs and then to potentially initiate the pullback. So let's see. Dropping on the daily, so the JPY pairs do not make too much sense to me right now, so I'm avoiding trading them. Like we opened right there, indecision up, spike to the downside, bullish engulf, push back up, then a bearish candle, and then we had on Friday that bullishness right there. So basically, if you drop to the hourly, guys, and you just open your chart, like except from this final move, we see this, okay, and the market opens right there. Okay, so this is your piece of price action for this week. Personally, I cannot make any sense out of it. All right, maybe we should drop to the hourly time frame to look a little bit more in depth, but it didn't make too much sense to me. Basically, what we had is this demand zone. Why is this a demand? Because we had a push, a pullback down, which is a higher low, and then we have a higher high, right? That broke the structure on the left. So basically, this is our higher low that we should not allow the market to break. So, and what it did, it tapped first, pulled back, tapped second, consolidation, final tap, then we broke structure. So basically, your trade should be from right there after the market broke structure and basically trading the retest of this lower high right there. First tap, second tap, third tap, fourth tap, and then we moved, all right? And you could have taken the short maybe from right there, but yes, I did not take any trades on EJ. Rather choppy, rather like slowly moving, then all of a sudden it starts impulsing, then again turns into a consolidation. So yeah, I just don't like this pair. But again, as I told you, what we can expect is, of course, higher prices, the market to go above 133. Currently, it's making a higher high, which is really nice. So where is our higher low area? Right there. So eventually, if the market comes inside this area, it will be really nice to start taking longs. So very simple. We can either have two situations. The market can pump above to create a high of the week, and then we can potentially trade the pullback to the downside, or the market can start first with a pullback to potentially make a higher low, and then we can take the long. So let's give it some time. Let's see how Monday opens, and then we're gonna see how we're gonna adapt. Next on the list are the Aussies. Let's start with AU on the weekly time frame. So we had a very nice bullish engulfing candle right there. And this is the thing, guys, with the candle formations. If you don't have the context, you're always going to get it wrong, because massive bullish engulfing candle, we expect the market to rocket, all right? But as you can see, the market just opens, creates the high of the week, and then trends all the way down. And why it happened like this? Well, simply because the market made a high right there on the daily and on the hourly, and we cannot expect for it to continue pumping up. It has to pull back. All right. And as you can see, dropping on the daily, there is your high, there is your high of the week. So basically this is your high on the weekly or on the daily, and then we dump to the downside. And of course we had this level, this level on the daily right there that the market reacted from. Well, almost, right? We have this nice buy, big sell-off right there. So basically this is a very nice reversal point that the market almost tapped inside. So basically, yes, on the daily, I will be looking for the market to get deeper inside this zone and to potentially give me a reaction. If I drop to the forward time frame to have a look what is there on the left, yeah, basically it's a little bit too high, but have a look. This is a really nice manipulation pattern. You have a range, you have a push outside of this range to trigger buyers, and then we have a massive sell-off. All right. So if the market gets inside this whole range, then this is a big range of supply. All right. So basically we should be expecting shorts from right there. But as for this week, where did we open? 10th of May right there, we consolidated. As you can see, we pumped into the highs to trick even more buyers after this weekly bullish engulfing candle. And then simply, guys, what you have to do is just follow the structure. It's that simple. There is your higher low formation. It gets broken. So after this gets broken on the hourly, shorts, only shorts. Lower high formation right there. First target was actually this, and we very nicely reacted from it, but as you can see, then the market failed to continue higher and we just blew to the downside again. And where are we currently reacting from? Well, if we just simply have a look on the left, it's the lowest point of this range. So basically, if you drop your fib like this, you want to be taking longs inside this area, as you can see, and even went a lot deeper than that. All right. So in terms of most recent price action, yeah, maybe we can drop to the hourly. We had this push down, very choppy price right there. So very hard to figure out what's going on. Another pump to the downside right there. We had a pullback, lower high formation. Then we had the news, massive spike down, massive spike up, and a continuation to the downside. And then basically right there from the bottom, you could have caught a little long, like, yeah, this is not a clear break, but it was a break. And then if you drop to the 15-minute, you have this push, you have this pullback, retesting the previous structure. So this was a long trade that I was looking at, but have a look at the time. It's 7:45 for me. This is already, London has closed, New York is about to close, so it's not really nice. But usually AU is gonna move around that time, so definitely this could have been a little long. But yeah, this is basically AU broken down on the higher time frames. So as I told you, currently I would expect the market to travel towards that big supply right there, but there is a big but right now. If we remove everything, where is our most recent lower high? All right, it's this range right there. It's this pullback before the move down. Okay, right now the market has consolidated, and we have a nice push outside of this consolidation. So again, what I would expect is very similar to all of the pairs, to push inside this range, to have a reaction, to pull back, to create a higher low, and then to start pumping up. All right, so simply I want to buy from this level like this. I want to buy from this level, but if the market gets inside this level, then we can potentially get a sell. All right, keep in mind that I'm doing this analysis on Saturday, and Monday's price action can look something like this. All right, and if it looks like this, then of course we adapt. All right, and this is why I don't like doing analysis on weekends and trading on Mondays. All right, because everything is gonna be different most of the times. So this is my outlook on AU. If we pump inside this range right there, I'm gonna be looking for the market to create a higher high and then to potentially push to the downside for a higher low inside this level. And yes, if it does this, then of course drop your fib like this and look to enter below the 50%, around the 61.8. All right, very simple for Aussie. We just have to give it some time to develop. And just quickly checking as well, AJ. So again, same story. We open, we push into the highs, we break structure down, not really broken structure, little pullback, push, little pullback, push. You can see how it starts creating a downtrend, right? Drop to the hourly, push, pullback, push, pullback, push, pullback right there. But as you can see, this pullback was way too strong. It actually came more than 100%. And that is how you can spot when the market is actually starting to reverse. Have a look from here. Push, pullback, nice. This is actually the most clean one. Push to the downside, pullback, nice. Push, pullback, nice. Push, very big pullback right there. And as you can see, then the market fails to make a lower low, consolidates, and then we continue pumping up. As for opportunities, explore how you could have gotten into this one, eventually into this range right there, and then potentially how you could have gotten into a long trade as well. But very simply as well, yeah, not very clear this one. Still looking bearish, but as you can see, this should be our last lower high, this one, because we broke structure down and right now we break above. Okay, so where do we want to buy the market? Well, from our higher low area, which is right there. So this is where we want to take a long trade, and eventually we want to see the market react to create a higher high, then to pull back, higher low formation, and then even eventually targeting the highs right there. Because maybe if I drop to the daily, we are perfectly bullish. We had a push up, pull back, higher low, higher high. The higher low was already created this week. Zoom in, higher low, higher high, higher low was created. Drop your fib from the low to the high. See where the market reacted. All right, it tried to react from the 50%, but it couldn't. It dropped to the 786, and right now we're initiating this push to the upside. So looking again for longs, all the pairs look the same, but first of all, we are gonna need this pullback. So let's see in what form and shape is this pullback gonna occur, and if we're gonna be able to go long on AU and AJ. Let's have a breakdown for the Kiwis as well, starting from NU. So what do we have right there on the weekly is again a nice pump into the highs, then we start to slow down, then we initiate this pullback to the downside. So again, the question is, was this pullback enough to fuel a higher high? All right, just dropping simply the fib, we went below the 50%, almost 61.8, so maybe, all right. What happened this week? Again, we had a massive bullish engulfing candle. The market formed the high of the week, pushed all the way down to potentially retest something inside this wick right there, which we're gonna see on the lower time frames, and then we continue to pump up. So again, potentially expecting this price to climb higher. Dropping onto the daily, again, you can see we actually did not create a higher high perfectly, because we always want body closes above the wicks, but this was not a higher high. We pulled back, but what is very nice is that we failed to make a lower low, and then we reacted from this level right there, this support, and right now we're nicely starting to impulse into the highs, potentially expecting a reaction from this little wick that we're currently retesting. Let's see how it looks on the hourly. Yeah, very nice. As I told you, what we actually went to retest, I have two zones right now, is this very kind of extreme level right there. The market pushed to the downside, created the low, then we just reversed. All right, so a lot of buy orders were entered from right there, and it took a lot of money for the banks to make this whole move to the downside, right? Because this was actually a fake move. This is a lower high. We take shorts right there, but if after such a big down move we had a massive explosion up, then this was a lot of fuel right there pushed into the highs. And as you can see, this week actually reopened, pushed to the downside, broke structure. So beautiful shorts actually from right there. I didn't take any, but what I want you to do for homework is go and examine how you could have gotten into a short right there, and then maybe even a short right there. Then we push into the lows, we tap inside this area, and what we do again, if we just simply photo structure, we break above the highs on the hourly time frame, and this is how you just flow with the market, guys. All right, we have our full hourly levels, but have a look how much price happens between those full hourly levels. This is our full hourly higher high, this is the full hourly higher low. Okay, so we go long all the way when the higher low was created, and then we start going short. Yes, in the middle of the range, we should start stopping taking shorts, because we never know where the market is going to reverse. But as you can see on this occasion, we came all the way into the extreme levels. All right, so let's focus on current price action. Yes, as you can see, currently we are retesting this level right there. So I would expect a reaction in around this whole range. So if I delete this, so yeah, currently the market is creating a nice higher high, very nice. So I would expect the market to tap inside and then to give me a pullback, higher low, and then all the pairs look the same. That's very nice. I will be looking for longs inside this area. Why? Because this is my higher low area. All right, so simply again, as we create a higher high, drop your fib like this and wait for the market to dip below the 50%. What you can do is drop to the hourly, drop to the 15-minute, wait for the market to shift the structure right there and start taking shorts. All right, if you have a shift, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high into the levels, and then from here start looking for your shift to start taking it up. And this is how you flow with the market, but it's very hard to do it on a lot of pairs. So what I do is I just focus on 2 pairs and I try to catch every single move on every single direction. All right, that is my target for the next couple of months. So basically this is NU. Again, looking for a high right now, pullback, potentially we can take some shorts inside those areas and then to potentially take it higher for a higher high, which is really nicely kind of corresponding to the 62% extension. And yeah, eventually let's see if we can get into the highs. NJ, same story right there, but in a very sloppy manner. We had a high, push, pullback, shorts, 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 shorts. We come right there, we retest some sort of a level. Again, we have this nice sell right there, then the market just reversed. We did not come into the extremes right there, which is fine. And right now we're nicely reversing to the upside. So yeah, same analysis. Actually, all the pairs look the same. Always mark your higher low. Oops, this is the fib. Always mark your higher low zone, which is this one overall, like that, catching all the wicks. And yes, potentially the market is very close, actually creating a double top right now. So this could be a reaction point. But what I would love to see is to have a higher high. And after the higher high, I'm going to start taking shorts and then to potentially have a big long. All right. So let's see. Again, bullish bias on the NZDs. But first of all, we have to see how Monday is going to open so we can adjust. Because the market can, again, as I told you previously, we can start with a pullback. All right. And then to potentially take a long, or we can start with a pump into the highs to trick a lot of buyers. But this is simply going to be a higher high. And then we can start potentially taking it down to take shorts. And then from here, we can start taking bigger longs. All right. So that's the plan for the NZDs. Let's have a look at some USDs. Let's have a look at UJ, which is like the DXY but for the JPYs. If you still haven't watched my video on the correlation, make sure to check it out. And right now, the big question for UJ is are we going down or are we going up? So what I can see from the weekly time frame, we were trending very strongly to the upside. And if I just take this whole move, which started from, let's say, from right there, we, very slightly dipped below the 50%. We reacted, but I personally think that we should drop a little bit further. All right. If you zoom in, what we can see is that there was a higher low created right there on the weekly, and basically we broke this. And currently I think we are in a lower high creation in order to pump down. But let's see, it's very tricky to actually figure out. Because dropping on the daily time frame, yes, we have this higher low, the market pushes up. So if the market was about to continue higher, it should have done it from right there. But what we did is we broke this structure. So basically this is right now a lower low. And right now what I see is from this swing, from this swing high to this swing low, currently we're traveling towards those areas to eventually have maybe a short. But it's not very nice because if you look from the downside, we have a push, slow down, push, higher high, higher low that failed to break below this level. So we are currently more or less in a bullish market from the daily. All right. So when you start having those confusions between all the time frames, it's much better to wait for something clearer to present. And of course, depending on your style, if you're a day trader, just follow the most recent price. Okay. So what we have right now is actually the market breaking this big swing right there and creating a higher high after failing to break lower. Okay. So, and currently we are in a push phase, and right now we have a very nice correction right there at the end of the week. So if I am to analyze UJ, I'm going to say I want to take longs from right there. Why? Double bottom formation right there. The market pushed into the highs, broke actually the structure, broke all structural points. And right now I need to see the market pull back a little bit and then to potentially head higher. If you drop your fib, we're already, we just tapped below the 50%. So we still have some downside potential. What you can also do is drop to the hourly time frame, spot where your lower high is, which is right there, and take a short from right there as well. Into this level, short, to the downside, into the Fibonacci levels and into the demand, and then we can potentially start taking longs. This is my very short-term perspective, all right? But keep in mind that, on the daily, we are bullish. So I don't want to take sells just because I think on the weekly we're going down. If we are about to go down, cool. We're going to break this level and we're going to make a lower low, like this. And then eventually we can start looking for the shorts, all right? So let me know if you're trading UJ, what is your bias? Do you think we're going up this week overall into the highs, or do you think we're actually going to reverse? Because the most recent structure indicates bullishness, all right? But I don't know if we're not about to tap into some sort of a level right there on the left on the daily, because you can see we actually already reacted, as I showed you, from the 61.8 we reacted, but we failed to continue lower, and right now we closed above it. All right, so maybe we're gonna come right now into the bigger levels to potentially react from there, but let's see. So basically this is UJ. Let's see how the market is gonna open, potentially looking for longs from this level, which is around 108,800s. All right, it's time for the GBPs, and as always, starting with GU. So what do we have right there is the market opening and straight starting to pump into the highs. All right, so we have a pretty bullish week right there on GU. And again, just zooming out a little bit, the same area as on EU from 2018, the market has tapped inside and has already reacted. But right now, I feel we are about to create a higher high. And basically, my targets are going to be those ones. And maybe eventually 43, and then maybe even eventually 44, because we have to create a higher high of this weekly high right there. But this is going to take some time. So, basically, yeah, it was pretty tricky week because we opened right there. Is this the open? Yeah, I think we just pumped into the highs on GU this week. Yeah, exactly. So have a look from the previous week. I was like planning from this high to push to the downside and to take nice longs into the highs. But what the market did, it opened right there, huge wick to the upside, and then it just pumped into the highs and created a high, all right, and tapped into this level on the left. And since in this whole consolidation, like this is from the 10th of May all the way onto the 12th of May, we consolidated. And basically Monday, right there, was this push, consolidation, then we pushed to the downside. And then we had a little bit of a long on Friday. All right, so GU was not very clear, but there were a lot of lower time frame setups. So let me first see if I can break down my trades that I took. Again, break even. So hourly time frame, again, we had this high of the week, which I consider to be manipulation. Why? Because we massive bullish engulf above, and then we just broke to the downside. All right, and I was like, cool, we're having this sort of manipulation. Then dropping onto the 15-minute time frame when I usually trade most of the times. Where is my zone actually? Well, what I examined right there, this is one of the days. I don't remember which one it was. Let me actually delete some price right there. This is the 12th. This is the 12th. What we have again is a manipulation below the Asian range right there. And there was a beautiful long that I missed right there. We broke structure, we created a high, we pulled back, and basically I was planning to take this into the highs inside these sort of levels right there where I wanted to take a short from, okay? And yeah, basically as the market pumps inside, we have a push, a pullback, a final push, and then a breakdown to the downside. So I started dropping down to the lower time frames, and basically what I spotted is a pattern that I trade a lot. It's again a very simple break and then a retest, all right? So we climb into the highs, then we reach this high point, which was something on the left as well, 4150 key level. We dump into the lows and we break structure, okay? And then simply what I do is I enter from right there. This is where my entry is. Then I'm gonna share also my my MT4 stats. And we very nicely reacted to the downside, but what I immediately spotted is that we failed to break structure, okay? But I knew that this is gonna go down because we basically, there is this bigger wick on Oanda, but on FXCM they were pretty equal, and I knew that this is gonna just blow to the downside. But what happened then is I was like, okay, so I really think this one is going down, so I'm gonna take a re-entry. So what I did, I spotted this push, pullback, lower high, lower low, lower high, nice bump to the downside. Then we consolidated. Basically this means that we need more orders to be grabbed in order to push down. So there is my retest area right there, this zone. So I enter right there. I'm gonna share my another MT4 stat right there. Nice reaction, and at this point I thought, oh yeah, we are going down. But then again, what I spotted is that the market simply failed to make a lower low and reacted from this demand, push to the upside, reaction, and then we just started to shift, push, pull back, shift. It reached my break-even point, it tried to react, and then after this reaction, break of structure, and I'm like, okay, it should just go down right now. But again, you can see push, pull back, we just fail, we broke structure above again, we pull back, we failed to make lower lows. As you can see, we just fail, and I'm like, no, this is going against me right now. So yeah, to be honest, I went break even on both positions. This one as well, and even this one. On this one, the stop loss was pretty safe, but again, I still don't trust too much in my analysis, just to be honest. And yeah, and if I just left my stop loss to be above right there, I could have nailed this position, all right? This one would have been a break even again because it was quite aggressive, or it would have been a stop loss. But then as you can see, the market taps again, and then we just plummeted to the downside. So this is a 16R, this is an 11R. Why this level? This is a 30 minutes level right there. Let me show you. Yeah, simply we have a push, a slowdown, and then another push. So basically I wanted to target this level for my full TP. And yeah, it would have hit to perfection. And then we had all of those massive news right there. So the market pushes into the downside and pushes into the upside, takes out the sellers, takes out the buyers. And if you are FOMO, so you see bearish engulf, you go sell. I used to do this a couple of years ago, seeing the news, I'm like, oh man, look at that push, and I enter down there, and then I see push up, oh man, I was wrong, okay, it's going up, let's enter right there on this bullish engulf, and basically you're just killed inside all of those news. And I'm sure all of you have done this at your beginning stages. I hope you're not doing it right now, but if you do, just step aside and just observe how the market moves inside the news. And basically, yeah, this is my other trade. A lot of other missed trades that I broke down to my team, but yeah, maybe I'm even gonna do a YouTube video for you guys. Let me know if you want me to do that. And yeah, then we had a long from here. right there, but the time was wrong, and then basically we can take longs on Friday. So let's focus right now. Let's see what we could have on GU. So as I told you, I do expect this high to get taken because we already reacted from it. Well, currently, yes, we're reacting, but the market just blows through it. So we're having the reaction. And basically our daily level is this one. I would love to see the daily retrace to take a higher probability long. Drop, oh, come on, man, why do you disappear? Then if we drop to the 4 hourly, just give me a sec. Visibility, hours, days, weeks, months, ranges, everything, bro. Cool. So dropping onto the 4 hourly, what we can see is, again, we had this push, pullback, consolidation, nice push outside. But currently, yeah, the 4 hourly is very tricky right now. It's very tricky because we can have another sell-off to the downside inside this daily area. Okay, because we're overall shifting to the downside. Where is our major lower high? It's this one. So as long as the market remains below this lower high, actually if I take it like this, we should be taking shorts. But most recently we also broke this structure, which is a push, lower high, lower low. We broke above it, and basically what we have right now is also this higher low. So yeah, GU is very tricky right now, guys. So let me know what you actually think. And as always, I always tell you, just flow with the market and just follow the structure. It's always gonna tell you where it wants to go. So what I would expect is very similar to something of the other pairs, but it's not very clear right now. So two things: we can tap inside, we can make a higher high, pull back, higher low, and then potentially high. Or we can start with a pullback to tap inside this area, then see if we can actually make a higher low right there, and then to again pump into the highs. Okay, so those are the two scenarios. Or another scenario would be to tap inside this area and then to tap right there, to fail to continue, and then to start pumping lower, and then we should actually expect those daily demand areas to get hit. So on GU, for me right now, it's a little bit 50-50, so it's going to be really important to actually wait for Monday to play out and to see what it wants to do. But what I'm going to tell you right now, mark this daily level, mark this 4 hourly lower high, and mark this 4 hourly higher low right now, because we're stuck in this range and we still don't have very clear direction. Overall, it is up, but again, if you drop your fib, is this pullback enough to fuel a higher high? I personally am not really convinced so. So what we can also have is a push deeper into those prices, and then this is gonna actually fuel a bigger move up. So let's see, this is my outlook on GU. I'm just gonna play inside those ranges and just observe how the market is behaving live. GJ, yeah, starting with a pump into the upside, and basically this is your whole week of price action. I don't trade this one, and I actually don't have a bias on it. Like if we just consult maybe with the weekly time frame, we are very strongly impulsing into the upside, creating a higher high. Always look on the left. Where are we going to tap? We're currently inside this area, and maybe we are about to reach out for this high. Who knows? But we still have 200 pips towards that high. So then dropping onto the daily, maybe way too high as well. So even GJ needs a pullback. Where to? Well, this is the lowest place that I would allow it to pull back. So basically, again, drop your fib and look for the market to get at least below the 50%, because this is your higher probability area. Dropping onto the 4-hourly time frame, yeah. So basically, we have a big supportive level right there and currently a resistance level. So the market is currently stuck in this range, okay? And I don't want to drop to the hourly because it gets too messy. It's way too messy right now. So what I'm gonna do on GJ is just let it go right now. I know a lot of you guys trade GJ, but for me right now it's just not clear, okay? I think it's too high on the daily, on the weekly, so I'm favoring shorts. But in order to take any shorts, I need to see short price action, all right? So I need to see something like that. So let's leave it for now. Let's see how Monday is gonna open, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't care. I can wait until Friday to just take one trade. It's just the trader I am. So let's see. Nothing right now, stuck in those two ranges. Let's wait for some clear indication of potential momentum. GA, it's a trade that I don't touch as well. Down, push, consolidation. So basically this is our level right now. This is our higher low, higher high. The market is already in a pullback phase. So very simply what I'm going to say is I want to see how the market is going to tap inside this area, how it's going to react, and if we're going to create a higher high. Simple. In terms of daily, you can see how we're shifting from the downside. So the market is turning bullish, which is really good to see. A nice pump into the highs. And basically this 4-hourly level is a little bit low probability because on the daily it's just 50%. Even above the 50%. So maybe we're gonna react, but then maybe dump into the lows to come and retest this daily wick right there that has been left unretested, and then to potentially react. So again, two levels to monitor. The first one is this kind of extreme, this one for a potential reaction. And what we can also have is the market can tap inside this level, fail to make a higher high, and then simply head lower to make a daily higher low and then head higher. And this is actually where I get most of the questions, guys. What is major structure? What is minor structure? Which time frame should I focus on? Which is my higher time frame, lower time frame? You simply have to use them all and just flow with the market, because you can see right now I'm working both with the daily and with the 4 hourly. But I know what could happen inside this area. So if it comes inside this area, I can look for longs, but I'm not going to go for a higher high, because then I know that from the daily we can have a deeper daily pullback and then to have a pump up. All right, so you have to be really flexible. But basically this is my outlook on GA. Nothing too much. I don't trade this pair as well, so keep in mind of those two levels. And Euro GBP, basically your whole week, where is it? Massive pump to the downside and then the consolidation. So I just hate this pair. I don't understand this pair, so I'm just leaving it be. Failure to break above. All right, so we dump into the downside. Basically we create this level on the daily, which is a break of structure. So basically a lower low was created. So right now, are we gonna pull back towards that area to take a big short, to take the big short? All right, on the hourly time frame, as you can see, we're already starting to reverse, but it's very choppy, this pair. I don't like it because it's a combination between Euro USD and GBP USD, and usually EU and GU will move together, and if they move together, then this one is just stuck. All right, but basically this is something that I would look at EG, but I don't recommend you to trade this one. Yeah, it's maybe just me, but I don't understand it. And yeah, this is how I'm gonna wrap up the GBPs. Main focus is GU to actually figure out where he wants to go. GJ needs a little bit clear direction, and GA is a little bit 50-50 if it's gonna react from those levels. All right, so let's have a final look at some indices and gold. Gold keeps climbing up. What we had this week is again a pullback, a little bit of a pullback. So usually we would like to see the market also retest those unretested wicks right there, but it didn't, and we continue to move higher. It was pretty choppy, to be honest, the first days. Like 10th of May, you can see wick into the highs. Then on Tuesday, we have a wick down, then back up. Then we have a bearish engulf. Then we have a higher low they actually created, and then we pump into the highs. Okay. So yeah, usually I would have loved to see a deeper retrace on gold somewhere, let's say right there, which is that unretested wick that I spoke about, but we left without it. And basically right now, this has turned into our major higher low. And we have right now, which is more like a minor structure. But yes, right now the question is, are we gonna break the highs, which we just wicked right now? And eventually if we do, I would like to see a higher high, and then potentially I'm going to be looking for a retest at some of either this level or this level to potentially take a long. Okay, keep in mind that we have this unretested daily level, which of course could be just left. The market is not always supposed to retest those levels right there. And yeah, eventually we can see even much higher prices on gold. So let me know what are your thoughts. Personally, I'm looking for longs. Maybe first of all, it's gonna be really nice to see a higher high, so then we can start taking shorts toward the higher low and then to potentially take the big buy. The stocks are in a very delicate situation right now with all the inflation stuff, CPI as well. It's something is starting to cook, and I'm starting to look a little bit deeper at it, because you can see on US 30 we had a massive breakdown right there that actually broke structure. So right now my question is are we really going to continue to make new highs, or are we going to turn into a downtrend? I would love to have a downtrend to start stacking more buy positions. But yeah, basically this week was pretty nice because we started with a massive move up, then we just massively flushed to the downside, and right now we're already recovering. All right, so not sure, guys. I'm not trading those instruments. I'm only investing, right, for the long term. So any dip for me is a buying opportunity, and I already bought, especially S&P 500. But yes, currently this is the high. So I'm curious to see if this high is actually going to get broken or just retest it and then a reversal. Okay. Basically then we have this demand that was formed. So basically the market is stuck between those two ranges, exactly 50% right now. So personally, I'm looking to see a reaction between those areas and to really see where we are about to go, because as you can see, NASDAQ as well, I called this daily level to get tapped, and we tapped all the way down, and this is a retracement of 8%. Which is a very nice correction. Usually 4% is a pullback, 8% is more like a correction. All right, so that is nice. That is really nice. As you can see, this dip right there was 12%. So this is more like a, yeah, not a crash, but yeah, you get the point. So it looks pretty nice. Everything looks pretty nice. So right now the question is, are we going to continue pumping higher? Okay, I told you the previous week is that I'm looking at this level. We almost tapped, no, we actually didn't tap it, we just straight flushed into the downside. So basically right now we move this area towards this one, and let's see if it's actually the market is gonna pull back inside this area and continue making any new lower lows, or pull back, create a higher high, and then continue to push into the highs. All right, so very, very, very delicate situation, as I told you. And on S&P, I called this dip because yeah, I caught it on 4%. To be precise, because 4% is a pullback for me, so I always get in onto the pullbacks. Then it flushed even lower, and I'm like, I should have held a little bit myself, but we never know when it's gonna stop. And as you can see, a massive dip below, and right now a massive recovery. So I'm pretty confused right now. I don't know what to expect. Again, we have the highs. If I just focus on the daily, we have the highs right now, and then we have the lows right now. Right now, the market is sharply pushing towards those highs. So the question is are we gonna have a breakthrough above? So yeah, not much technical analysis to drop on this one. Guys, let me know what you think. I'm not trading those instruments personally, I'm just looking at them. I invest a lot in S&P. It's actually one of my biggest holdings. So yeah, this time I want to wrap up the video, guys. Let me know if you found anything valuable. Let me know like the questions that I asked you previously. Leave a comment below, hit the like button to support the channel, and always let me know your thoughts. What do you want to see more? What are you struggling with? Give me some ideas for other YouTube videos. And yes, I hope you have a relaxing weekend. Make sure to backtest a little bit, refine your trading, and make sure to have a crushing week. And stay tuned for the Tuesday analysis, where I'm gonna speak to you again.